Okay, welcome. This is episode 8 of the David Adorno podcast, coming to you live from Medford, New York, out on Long Island. And lucky me, I used to have only about 15 minutes to talk to you. Now I got as the clock 179 minutes and 30 seconds. So we got some time to spend together. So what I want to talk about is discipline. Okay? After this, I'm hoping that you go to discipline.djdmsales.com. Stands for Digital Always Does More Sales. And I'm here to help you get off the fence. I want you to start a business. I want you to have a better life, even if that means working for someone else. Because that's okay too, if that's what makes you happy. Kind of reminds me of what Gary Vee always said. Talks about how, he makes X amount of dollars, but he knows a friend or two who make $45,000 to $55,000 a year. They coach 3 baseball teams, and his words, they're happy as, I didn't hit the explicit check, so I'm not going to say it. But what this is about is the mindset you need to either go into business for yourself or to do what's necessary to have that 9-to-5 job where you're happy. There's no reason why you should get up and dread your day. Okay? You should get up happy, ready to do whatever is necessary in your life to have the life that you want. Whether it's, stuff for your kids, stuff for yourself. Just be happy. So the number one way, okay, like I've always said before, the thing that needs to happen is that we need to talk about your mindset. We need you to be ready. We need your mind to get out of your way. Okay? A couple things that come to mind right now about mindset and discipline is how you got here. Okay? Nobody's born like this. It's a developed thing. Okay? You, at one point in your life, were told X, Y, and Z so many times that you began to believe it. All right? And that's where you need to do that internal look at yourself. That finding in your soul of what needs to be changed. Because, I talk a lot about how I'm a Catholic. Okay? God don't make garbage. God don't make something that's negative. He doesn't make something broken. We become broken from our lives in this earth. And it's something that's changeable. You don't have to live this way. I'm hoping that you don't. That's why I do this. That's why I want to help to get you guys off the fence. Because there's a lot more freedom to be had being an entrepreneur than there is punching a clock. To be honest, let's be straight. I'm talking about those, New York State minimum wage is $12. I'm talking about those people. Okay? Let's be straight. In New York State, if you're making anywhere, say 60 grand and above, you're probably good. You have a little struggle. You might basically live check to check, but you're getting shit done. Okay? And in order to come out of that, 12 to probably $25 an hour existence, you either need to re-educate yourself, go back to school for something that you love, become an academic in that, become a professional through academia in that field, or you need to start a business. Okay? And that's one of the reasons why I'm here. I'm not making this podcast, if I do sell you a product, I'm not selling you a product so, great, in the bank, bye, gone. No. I found this product that I go along with you on that journey. You'd always have resources to me, and I would help you along the path to understand this stuff to the fullest. And that's why I want to talk about discipline. Okay, that's why I put together some articles. Basically, like I said on the landing page, two of my favorite authors, David Eddings and the king of fantasy, J.R.R. Tolkien. Two works that come to mind are the Rivian Codex and Tolkien's The Silmarillion. Each of these works were the basic stories and things are happening in their best-selling novels. Rivian Codex was about the Melorian by David Eddings, and the Silmarillion was about The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Now, the reason I mentioned that, because that's what my download is about. My download of these files that I was just reading, putting together the ones I thought would help you the most. And it's Cody's, this guy Cody Raines. It's his Silmarillion, his Rivian Codex, to make the Mantis Masterclass. Okay? I told you I was going to be interviewing people, and, one of the things I found is that Cody is perfectly in line with the purpose I have for this podcast, which is to help you to see a better life, to see a better way, to give you the tools that you need to change, to get in a place where you can find that path to what you want. Okay? So discipline, it's a tool. Okay? It's not something that everybody's born with. Some people grasp to it easier than others. You see them at work, right? Even at that $12 an hour job, let's say you're a factory worker. Okay, that's what a lot of people do here. No stone turned, no stone thrown. But you'll have that guy on the team, and he's the first one in, and he's the last one out. So you kind of have to ask yourself, where do you stand in there? You want to get ahead, that's the guy your boss is looking for. You want to get ahead in business, that's the guy your client is looking for. He's looking for that person who's going to over-deliver. He's looking for that person who's going to be there and turn the lights on. That go-to guy for him to do his job. Okay? That's one of the things that Cody also talked about in a different article that I'll get to eventually. For you guys, actually. I've read it already. But he talks about how, that's one of the ways to advance. Okay? If you're in with a young crew, say in a warehouse of a company, he could be one of those ground floor guys that rises to be, an executive in the company. And because of that bond that you make with him, that discipline that you have to be that first person in and that last person out, he takes you right along with him. You become part of his team. And your position grows with his. It's a perfect and beautiful way. It's teamwork. Okay? You're not just riding his coats. That was I'll be honest, that was one of the first things that I came to mind. All right? Because that's that old mindset that I had. Now, sitting back after it a couple days, here with you live, that's what's coming to mind. He was part of that team. That was a person that executive can trust. He knew he would always be there to turn on the lights. He knew he would be the last person to leave. When he left, you'd still be there, working on the tasks that are helping his team to get to excel and provide for the company that you're working at. That's what's going to make you an awesome business person. That boss, who when anybody gets there, is already there. That boss, who when you leave at night, he's still in his office, grinding away, building businesses, building relationships, showing his authority in his product. That's what's going to get you the paycheck for that person that works for him. That's why he's there. That's why here I am at, 11:45 in New York, and I'm recording a podcast for you. Not even recording. This is live. Every mistake, sound, and everything is going to be here. And how am I doing it? I'm drinking Mountain Dew. So it's kind of going back to when I was talking about meditation a few episodes ago. I've said it before, I'm a Rosarian. I'm a Catholic. Come, my kid's got a 8 o'clock bus, come 6:30, I'll be sitting outside my door. I'll pray my morning prayer, I'll pray my rosary, and I'll have a cup of coffee. It's what starts my day. It's my positive, especially the coffee. But that's what we need to do. It's not something that I've been doing solidly for the last 15, 20, 25 years. It's something that's taken root. I started to do stuff like this. I disciplined myself to not think of anything else until I spent this time with Jesus. Okay? It used to be even a few months back where it wasn't prayer, it wasn't a rosary, but it was stuff like Les Brown and Eric Thomas and all these positive motivational speakers. Because I needed at that point that human element of hearing another man say that I can do this. And then because of my experiences and where I'm at today, I recognize that God is with me. And he's become that positive. Just like scripture. I'm not going to go quoting scripture, but if you're a Christian, you know where it is, or you can go find it. He is my shelter. He is my source of strength. And I recognize, I was even telling my wife at one point in the last few days how on a Sunday, typically, right? It didn't happen this Sunday, so that's why I say typically. There is something either in the prayer that I'm praying for that morning or in the songs that I'm using, because instead of using old-fashioned hymns, I lean on Christian music. And there'll be something in there that just brings me to tears. Not bad tears, not sitting there weeping like a girl, whatever you want, the connotations you want to put on it. But just joyful tears. I know that God is with me, that God is bringing me somewhere. And one of the things that he brought me was this program that I want to offer you guys that will help you to read and have something in your mind to kind of make its way down to your heart. Because that's the way it works. Everything comes in through the eyes, and it's a memory. And then as your life goes on and your experiences continue, there's a triggering that goes on with that memory. You start to see yourself. Like, for example, you go to that's not the site. You go to discipline.djdmsales.com, and you're going to see it. You're going to, opt in on the page and give me your email. That way I can continue giving you more information about discipline. And you read the information. You read the download, right? One article is about just straight out discipline. Another article is about the fear of discipline. And then another one is talking about the daily exercises that you can take to gain discipline. Okay? It's the same with me. The rosary is a discipline. It's a devotion to Mary, through Jesus, through the life and death, suffering, of Mary and Jesus, their lives. But it's still a discipline. Every day, I got to reach in my pocket, pull out those beads and say those Hail Marys and Our Fathers. They don't happen on their own. I need to choose it. I need to say, this is what I'm going to do. I'll be honest, even to the point, I tell my kids, it takes me 20 minutes, 30 minutes tops. When I tell my kids, yeah, we're going to have breakfast after I say my prayers. My first thing is to that first mover in my life, which is God. And then after that, I start my day in a better place. That's really why I do it. Because after that, I could be the dad that they deserve. It's not that I'm starving my kids. It's I'm preparing myself to do what's right by them. That's why I pray in the morning before all else. Okay? That's why after they go to school, I come back and I go to work. That's why I'm self-disciplined. That's why I'm self-motivated. Because I've built it up. It didn't come out of nowhere. It's something that I've worked on for the last 15 to 20, 25 years. Now, should it take you that long? Maybe it will. We don't know. But if it doesn't start, you don't get to that fruit. Okay? Think of, the apple you ate out of your fridge all nice and crisp and cold and sweet. It eventually, at one point, was, a plant in the ground. And it grew. And then someone went and picked it off, put it on a truck, and sent it to your supermarket. It didn't get there by accident. It didn't get there automatically. And it most certainly didn't taste the way it did because of just random chance. There was a team behind it. There was a team that went and planted the young sapling and over years cultivated the soil, fed the soil so it would get to the roots, watered the soil so it would have the moisture it needed. Okay? We all have plants. We know how it works. If you don't water and fertilize your plant dies. So for you to have an apple and be able to eat it, there's a certain amount of discipline that went into that. Behind that fruit that comes to your stores. It's the same thing with you. You gotta, develop yourself. You gotta cultivate yourself. You gotta, make sure that you eat right. You gotta make sure that you're healthy and you exercise. And I fight with that myself. I'm not gonna be, okay? I need to get on top of my health, all right? I'm not gonna deny it. But, in other aspects, I'm doing things that are just gonna make that happen. My business, the love I share with my family, the discipline that I've cultivated in myself. These are all things that came from somewhere. They didn't just spring out of the ground. So that's what this podcast is about. This is why I have that free download for you at discipline.djmsales.com. Okay? And it's a good thing. All right? It's a good document. I like it a lot. I think it's going to give you a lot of value on how this process works. And there's more to come. Next episode will probably be about discipline again. Different downloads I can give you and send to you so you can learn and grow. And if you want, it does come from the first volume in the Mantis Masterclass, which is Mindset. Okay? There'll be a drop-down box and you can indicate that you just want to get to the meat and potatoes, all right, and not deal with the milk. Okay? You just let me know, we'll set you up and get you that volume and get you on that path. Why? Because life is beautiful. That's something that really bothers me when and I did it myself, don't get me wrong. Okay? There was one time when I was in my early 20s, 23, my birthday in August, and there wasn't a blessed soul around to celebrate it with me. And it hurt. Okay? It was probably the start of, I hate the term conversion story, but it was the start of me reconnecting with my spiritual side, with what was going on with my soul. And believe it or not, it probably took almost another 10 years before I started that journey from that day. I was 23, 33, I was celebrating my birthday in Medjugorje, surrounded by other gentlemen that wanted to either go into the religious life or the priesthood. I swam in the Adriatic Sea on my 33rd birthday. I met with a man who was a saint walking on this earth. Just listening to him in another language because he was speaking in Croatian. And you could feel, I don't know what to call it. I still don't know what to call it to this day. Okay, we're talking better than 15 years ago. I can still feel it in my heart. The joy, the grace of that man's speech. Didn't understand a lick of it, but I felt it in my soul. That's kind of what I'm talking about here. I needed to be in a certain position to feel that. It wasn't something that just anyone can hear and bear fruit from it. Right? You have to be ready to hear some things, and that's part of this journey. Okay? It might be a couple of years before someone gets off the fence and takes advantage of their life and makes some solid changes, becomes that guy that turns on the lights and locks the door at night, becomes that businessman that's self-motivated and building a team around him and recognizing his responsibility to them for the food that's on their table, for the roof that's over their head, for the clothes on their back, for the car that they drive to his business every day. That's the kind of person that you want to work for. Okay? You don't want to work for that person that is literally walking on your back to make millions of dollars. You want that person that's going to give you an income where you can dream. Without dreams, what are we living for? Okay? You need to be able to say, I'm going to use those 10 days of personal time and have somewhere to go. Be able to afford to go somewhere. That's the purpose of this podcast in another little nutshell. No more staycations. You don't take time off to just sit around the house. You take time off to explore this beautiful green globe. You go somewhere, even if it's just Disney World, even if it's going to Jersey and spending a couple days at Great Adventure. What else? Why should you just sit home? It's something I don't understand. I've done it several times. Like I always say, I come from you. I'm not some big shot that had all this money. I don't have money. Let's be straight. Okay? I'm working on something that will affect others. And by affecting others, eventually my bank account will be affected. Okay? I have a job. This is extra. This is something that I want you to have so you can take some of the steps that I've taken to have the job that I have. What is that job? I'm an independent representative for Centex Corporation. I sell text message marketing. But I'm also part of the team with AFIT ID and the Mantis Masterclass. That's what the side free that I have that I'm offering to you guys. Because I saw the jobs that I've done. I've been that guy that's done minimal to get a check. And it got me nowhere. Okay? AFIT, Centex, having been part of the Apex Entourage program, meeting different people. If it wasn't for Apex Entourage, I never would have met Cody. That simple. If I didn't make some sort of change and see that happiness in my life, say back in 2000, roughly, let's say, 2003, I never would have went to the seminary. Because if you don't think a seminary is about mind change and mindset, that's probably core. To have your mindset focus on Jesus Christ and serving people, which is my biggest takeaway. I'm here, I'm doing this podcast because I want to serve you. I've linked up with Cody and AFIT and the Mantis Mastermind Masterclass because I see that as a great tool that I can use to help you. Because again, say you go to the discipline.djdmsales.com page and you opt in and you click that text box and say, you know what, I'm going to take the download and I'm going to read it, but I want to go straight to the meat and potatoes and get the Mindset Masterclass. I'll send you a link, you go, you purchase it, okay, and I will be there step by step with you to go through it. Okay? So, next podcast, I hope to hear, have some information for you. Again, more on discipline, daily exercises. It could be simple things. It doesn't have to be mountain shattering. It could be as simple as, I forget her last name. Her first name is Mel. She's a great YouTuber on YouTube. And discipline could be simply taking her 5-step formula. Okay? If you're one that hits the snooze bar, that's the problem you have right off the bat. You're not the first person in. You come in the nick of time. A lot of times you're probably late if you go through a month. Okay? Maybe your discipline practice daily is not to hit the snooze bar. To set your alarm for a proper time for you to get up, get dressed, have a good breakfast, at least a cup of coffee, okay, and be on time to work. Because if you can't do that, getting off the fence and become an entrepreneur, you might find yourself back in a job. I'll be straight. Okay? So maybe that's your first step. All right? And it's simply you set your alarm, you hear it go off, it wakes you up, and you train your mind that the moment that you hear that alarm, you do a countdown of 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you get up. It could be that simple. Do that for 30 to 90 days. And that could be a good test to show how discipline is a tool that you can cultivate. You don't have to be that person who shows up last. You're that person that shows up first. You just got to get up and do it. That's a lot of what the mindset lives you'll hear with gym addicts. A lot of them train first thing in the morning. And they'll go and they'll work out. And that's one of the things they say. Get out of bed. It's really that simple. There's no funky kind of guru kind of stuff that has to happen. You got to find a way to get out of bed. And it could be that simple. It could be the first step to learning how to discipline yourself. Tomorrow morning, you set your alarm a good time. Not crazy early, My book, you should be up by 5 o'clock. Okay? I'm up by 6. Okay? Once I get my situation straight again, I'll be up at 5 o'clock. Better. Okay? Because I am one of those guys, like Eric Thomas says, my passion wakes me up. Okay? Once I'm back to my feet, that will probably reassert itself. Right now, I sleep the sleep I get to be ready for my kids and do what I have to do for my kids throughout the day. Because right now, they're my focus. They're also why I'm doing this. To provide for them. To provide for them in a way that I'm helping people is very important to me. So that's why I do this podcast. Because by helping you, I'm helping them. By helping and providing you with information and value, I provide for them. Okay? And keep in mind one last bit. This is October is National Down Syndrome Awareness Month. That's an important topic for me. Because my youngest, Michael, has Down syndrome. That's something we were talking about with some neighbors here. It's something that makes people fearful. It genuinely does. And that's something that change does. That's why I included the fear of discipline in the download. It's because fear is something that's very crippling. Now, one of the important parts in the story, and something that shows that change is possible, that change is, part of discipline, and that you can discipline yourself to change. A baby is born after 9 months. So for 9 months, me and my wife were dreaming of what this child would be. Her pregnancy was completely opposite from David, my firstborn. So we were expecting a girl. And I mean, everything was different. David would hiccup a lot. Michael did not. David was tossing and turning a lot. Michael was rather still. But my point is that once Michael was born, he went up to the nursery like every child does, and then they took him over to the NICU, the neonatal ICU. The doctor came out and said, he seems to have some sloping of his ears. He's got, I forget what they call it, this thing at the nape of his neck. He's got, what they call hypertonia. His upper body wasn't as fully developed, and he was showing weakness in his upper chest area. And we think he has Down syndrome. It was a rough few days, okay? To the point that before that night ended, they called in the chief of pediatric cardiology. And they told him, don't bother going to pick up your equipment. We already have him here. Come straight to the NICU. Okay, we need to check this baby out. Long story short, he was fine. The end of the story is that 9 months of dreaming was shattered. I didn't get a girl, I got a boy. He wasn't that happy, healthy 10 fingers and 10 toes. He had Down syndrome. He had something that, from my perspective, I don't want to say a defect. It wasn't. It's a developmental kind of thing, where he's now 7. In a lot of aspects, he's only 5. And like I said, the dream was shattered. Now for 9 months, where you, at the end, when the child's born, normally you have some sort of, dream in place. I had that with my David. He was perfect. This is little. And I had that, that moment of, this is my son. I can see the man he's going to be. He's just tiny, and I have to help him get to that adult. Michael was completely different. I had on my mind, what if he needs something? I consider myself poor now. How do I provide for a child with special needs? And it was heartbreaking. I'll be honest. There were many times where I'd keep my upper lip strong, but when I would go outside, because we didn't smoke in the house, okay, I would go outside and have a cigarette, I would sit there in tears, not knowing how I was going to provide for this child, because that's very important to me, is that I provide for my children. The end of that story is that I came to the point where I just said to myself, you know what? He's just a kid. Just a little baby. He needs his dad. Until Down syndrome says otherwise, he's just a kid. So I tell you that story because, like I said, October is Down syndrome awareness. Okay, you'll see that on my Instagram and my social media profiles. Some pictures of him, some just images, to remind everybody that it's Down syndrome awareness month. But I wanted to tell you that story because who knows? Somebody out there that hears this could be pregnant. They could go to deliver and find that they have a Down syndrome child. They are the most lovable, awesome kids. Not less awesome than David, I'll be honest. He's just a kid. But, for example, he's the mayor wherever he goes. He's going up to people, perfect strangers, which is a little bit, as he gets older, I keep him tight so I don't have to worry too much about it. But he'll go up to a perfect stranger and say to him, "Hi, what's your name?" "Oh, hi, my name's Mikey Dorno. This is Daddy Dorno. This is David Dorno and Mommy." I can't tell you how many times in the last few years that he's been more, learned to talk and all that stuff, that he's done that with people. He is literally the mayor wherever he goes. All because he has an extra chromosome. It's like they say, there's a story that goes around, and you might see it online. You can probably search it on Google, and it talks about how there's an angel helping God make souls. And he gets to this one Down syndrome soul, and he says, "Lord, okay," and he arches his eyebrows. He's like, "I don't know what to do." God says to him, "Don't worry, I'll help you. Look, I'll show you. See the love meter? Turn it all the way up, max it out. See the happiness meter? Turn it up, max it all the way out, because that child is perfect that way." So there's my Down syndrome awareness interlude. And I thank you for listening. Again, go get that free download. Discipline.djdmsales.com. Stands for Digital Does More Sales. But it's really David, Jennifer, David, and Michael. And the sales I'll make to provide for them. Love to all. Peace.